Hello, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Haziq, and I am the moderator for the e-forum session today. And today we are holding an OSH management forum. As we all know, there are two acts that bind all organizations in Malaysia in order to guarantee employees are protected from any workplace hazard, which are Factory and Machinery 1967 and Occupational and Health Act OSHA 1994. So today we have two panel for this forum. First is Mr. Ikmar Roslin. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Iqmal Hakim bin Roslin. I am 4-year student from BMMD Section 1 Group 1, FTKMP U10.
And finally, we have Mr. Ibnu Rozi. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Ibn Amirul. I'm a final year student from UTEM and my course is BMMD. Thank you.
This forum consists of two topics, which is the role of OSH legal requirement in business management and Occupational Safety and Health Act in Malaysia and its salient features. So, we will be starting with the first topic, and the first topic is the role of OSH legal requirement in business management. In this topic, we have two questions. The first question is, what are the legal duties for occupational safety and health in corporate management? So, Mr. Ikmal, can you please answer it?
Yeah, thank you to Mr. Moderator, Mr. Haziq Saimi. So, in answering the question regarding the roles of occupational safety and health legal requirements in business management, this legal requirement act like a safety management system in the structure of a particular company. So it is like a pillar. If to give the concept, the main concept, if a Muslim must pray 5 times a day to serve as the pillar of the faith, so corporate companies must adhere to the rules of occupational safety and health legal requirement. They must obligate to the requirement that it is help in improving the employee relation and also motivational. So other than that, employee also plays an important role to succeed the organization or business management mission to ensure the safety and health of their people are taken into account. So these things same goes to the employer of the business. So to the employer of the business, they need to enforce the occupational safety and health so that the environment or the workplace of their company is suitable for everyone in the aspect of safety and health. So this is basically it's how you take care of the employee in every condition on the maximum potential. Okay. So this legal requirement mainly purpose to protect the workers of the company in terms of work-related injury and also ill health. So to go deep, if we look through the eyes of this monstrous hazardous industry, let's say the occupational safety and health plays a main role to develop a multidisciplinary guidance or act like a manual for the business management. Say to them, to these business owners, every money that they spend or every money that they expense that they take into expenses of anything in the business are very valuable. Also to the public, we also as normal people, we think that everything that we spend into must have issued into account. And it is very valuable to expend our money where we need to see where is the right place that we put our money. That's why they benefit from this legal requirement, occupational safety and health legal requirement, in order to avoid waste of money. Because when people adhere to the rules and guide, they will be able to prevent from any unwanted incident or accident in occurring. How? The question is how this occupational safety and health legal requirement helps in this case. So this particular requirement will be utilized in identifying and also mitigating hazards in the industry or business practice. So they will be more function and the role of this legal requirement will be more clear that it is the pillar to the business management. The most benefit that we can see in this practice. So before I finish my opinion regarding the question regarding the issues of the roles of occupational safety and health legal requirements, please allow me to end it with a quote. A safer work environment is a less stressful work environment. That's all from me to answer regarding my opinion on the questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ikmar Roslin, for the answer that you have give. It's quite long and is very, very uh, logical and is very good answer. So the next question is, what happen if occupational safety and health is neglected? Mr. Ibnu, can you please answer it?
Um, Thank you, Mr. Haziq, for the question. Basically, the occupational safety and health is really important, like Mr. Ikmal already explained before this. And we, as an employer or employee, should obey to the rule. Our failure to obey or install adequate health and safety procedure can result in serious injury or fatalities. A work-related illness or injury can not only put an employee out of work for a while and impact their quality of life, it may also damage our business productivity, finance, and reputation, and all of this impact is very difficult to cover back. For example, we look at the impact in terms of safety. Every business company has their own standard operating procedure for operating a machine. Most of the machine developers have set their own method and SOP that we need to follow if we want to use the machine. If we are careless with the prescribed machine SOP, it may result in injury or death, especially when operating the machine in risky area. Most employees do not follow the SOP because for them this SOP is complicated and waste their time. They need to know and realize that life cannot be bought and sold. It's not worth taking shortcut when life are at stake. So for the next example, we can take is the impact in terms of productivity. If we fail to recognize the importance of health and safety procedure, our business may decrease productivity. Basically, before starting productivity in a company, the engineer and also the OSHE officer have planned and set the productivity plan, including in terms of machine technology, employees SOP, and also the completion time for a product. If the SOP is neglected and any accident occur during production phase, I believe the entire plan in the company will be stopped to identify the problem or the root cause before we continue back to the process. As a result, company production will be disrupted and our business will suffer a significant time and financial loss. Last but not least, this OSH was created for everyone's benefit. Thus, we must abide by it to stop unwanted things from happening. So, is it answer to your question?
Yes. Thank you for your answer, Mr. Ibnu. Your answer is very quite and ethical and very law-abiding in the workplace out there. So after this, we will jump to the next topic, which is occupational safety and health, act in Malaysia and its salient features.
Okay, make sure you're sitting down. We're going to talk about safety culture. Culture? Don't panic. Culture is all around us. We're swimming in it. It's true. Every human group develops its own culture. As time goes on, the group finds its own way of doing things, like this. Of thinking, you see? Improves risk management, understands failures, builds on successes, makes choices, innovates, and develops an organization. Got it? This is how the group builds its own practices and knowledge. A cultural fabric that adapts to different environments, as well as historical, political, and social contexts. In short, the group develops its culture through shared behaviors and attitudes. And you want to know, what does this have to do with companies? Instead of culture, don't they focus on productivity, labor relations, and profitability? Of course, companies have to face these issues to survive, and safety is part of the equation. To overcome these challenges, you have to work together. You need shared attitudes and ways of doing things. A culture. An organizational culture. Here it is. And what role does safety play in all this? It's a key issue. First of all, it's necessary to identify the most important risks and agree on what we mean by most important. What are the possible causes of a serious accident likely to result in injuries, damage to assets, or harm to the environment? Setting safety levels means establishing how things should be done, the right attitude. In other words, having a safety culture. Well, that's it. It helps you address the most important risks by linking technical factors, rules, and procedures with the know-how of staff. Culture, organization, safety. These three concepts are closely linked and contribute to a firm's overall performance. In fact, developing a corporate safety culture is fundamental to the organization. It concerns its working conditions, quality, and dialogue, which in turn influence safety culture. It's a virtuous circle that gradually builds a shared culture. It's true, You can't prescribe a culture. You have to build it.
Hello, Assalamualaikum. My name is Momo Hazik, and I am the moderator for this forum. Today, we are holding an OSH management forum, as we all know. We have two panel for this forum. First is Mr. Ikmar Roslin, and finally, we have Mr. Ibnu Rozi. So, the first question is, can you explain what the Malaysian Occupational Safety and Health legislation is and what is the key element are, Mr. Ibnu?
It's me, right? Oh, okay. It's me. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Haziq, for the question. Basically, in Malaysia, we are about and implemented the Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994 and Act 514, which provide the regulatory framework for the safety, health, and welfare for of all Malaysian workforce. The principle is to prevent and protect workers from dangers and hazards relating to their workplace activity. It requires all companies to establish a document such as safety and health policy. Second, duties of the employer, employees, and the safety of the health officer. Then we have the safety and the health committee of the companies. And lastly, for the occupational safety and health inspection and officer. Then we look to the purpose of the act. The purpose of the act is basically to secure the safety, health, and welfare of the person at the work against hazard and risks arising out of the activity of person at work. Then the purpose also is to protect person at a place of work other than person at work against the risks arising out of the activities of person at work. That is to promote an occupational environment for person at work which is adapted to their psychological need. And lastly, maybe to provide the means whereby the associated occupational safety and health legislation may be progressively replaced by a system of regulation and approved industry code of practice operating in combination with the provision of this act designed to maintain or improve the standard of safety and health. Then maybe we can look for the role for the authority. Basically, there are four requirements we need to know, which is first, Department of Occupational Safety and Health, which is can be short for as a DOSH, is a government department under the Ministry of Human Resources, Malaysia. It's responsible for through enforcement and promotional work, those employer, self-employed person, manufacturer, designer, importer, supplier, and employee to always practice safe and health work culture and always comply with the existing legislation, guideline, and code of practice in relation to occupational safety and health. Next, DOSH also evaluate and review legislation, policies, guidelines, and code of practice from time to time pertaining to occupational safety, health and welfare as a basis in ensuring the safety and health at work. Then DOSH also is the Secretariat to National Council of Occupational Safety and Health, a council established under Section 8 of the Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994. Lastly, the National Council of Occupational Safety and Health shall have the power to do all things expedient or reasonably necessary for or incidental to the carrying out of the object of this act. Maybe for the last, we can go through under implement. First, all employees with more than 5 employees are required by the legislation to operate with the safety and health policy. The objective is to demonstrate the commitment of the employer or company to ensure safety and health in the workplace. Second, maybe safety and health policy must be taken into account when making a decision or performing work activity of the organization. And the last, the individual or the generality apply is for the employer, self-employed person, manufacturer, designer and supplier, employees, the establishment of the safety and health committee, the appointment of a safety and health officer, and lastly for the enforcement, investigation and offense. I think that's all from me. I hope that answer the question. Thank you.
Thank you for your answer, Mr. Ibnu. It's quite brilliant answer and it's very according to the law and it's very according to the OSHA Act in 1994. So for the next and for the last question is for Mr. Ikmal, which is if the OSHA Act is vital, what happens if it is ignored?
Yes. The question is for me, right? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Moderator, Mr. Haziq Suhaimi. So, well, as what Mr. Ibnu said earlier, we already understood and note with the importance of the implementation of OSHA Act in business management. So in the case where these business or industry companies, these industry players are neglecting the OSHA Act, there are several implications that they will be facing. So they will not be easily get off from the rules and regulation. So I'm referring to an article published by Bernama previously where they stated that many construction site deaths has been due to defiance of worksite safety regulations. Yet the penalties imposed on these arrogant employers are too low, according to the safety advocacy groups. So at present, in Malaysia, in our practice, under the Section 15, Bracket 1 of the Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994, provides a maximum fine of up to 50,000 or 50,000 ringgit or a jail term of up to 2 years or both for negligence, or in other words, neglecting the OSHA Act in Malaysia specifically. So for the discussion today, I will be picking up from two of the main regulation that is stated in our country OSHA Act, which is the first is under general duties of employers and self-employed persons. What happens if these people neglect the rules and regulation? So it stated that a person who contravenes the provision of section 15, 16, and 17 or 18 shall be guilty of an offence and shall, on conviction, be liable to a fine not exceeding 50,000 ringgit or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 2 years or to both. So as you can see, for the employers and employed person itself, uh, 50,000 ringgit is not a little bit amount of money, right? So just to pay for the fine is not worth it. Okay. So next, the second act that I will pick is under the general duties of designers, manufacturers, and suppliers. So it's stated in the regulation that a person who contravenes the provisions of section 20 or 21 shall be guilty of an offence and shall on conviction be liable to a fine not exceeding 20,000 ringgit or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 2 years or to both. So this for penalties of 2 years and below. Usually the suspect cannot be detained without a warrant. But if the penalty is more than 2 years, it is categorized as an arrest and usually the suspect can be detained and remanded. So we can see the difference between the two act. Whether for the focusly, the first one is focused to the employer, and the second main general duty to designer, manufacturers, and suppliers. So also Director General of the Department of Occupational Safety and Health, IR Zaili Dolah, and High Court of Malaya lawyer Ahmad Israf Saad in one bernama interview that I have stated earlier, shared their thoughts. They shared their thoughts of the view that the current penalties for occupational safety and health offense are too lenient and do not reflect the seriousness of the offense in our country right now. Penalties of this offense, they say, should be raised in order to achieve a greater different effect and to enhance protection for workers. I think Mr. Muhammad Ibn also agree with my opinion, right? So the government should review the existing law by taking into consideration in the current situation. This is because sentence imposed for criminal cases should achieve its objective, which is judgment lesson, preventive as well as remedial. So these four pillars is important. We want to protect the people, so we must adhere to the main objective. So we must agree that employees are vital asset to the company. As these people, they generate income, right, for the families, and they also contribute towards our nation growth. So the nation will incur huge loss, huge loss when workers are injured or killed as a result of accident at the workplace. So I believe that our government and forces does not wish to see these employers focus only on making profit, right, for their business management at the expense of their worker safety and health. So we also must focus on taking care of other people rather than making benefit on our own. So I think that is a few implication that I could stated for the neglecting the OSHA Act. I hope my opinion answers the question from Mr. Moderator. Thank you.
Well, thank you for your answer, Mr. Ikmal Roslin. It's very ideal answer, the facts and all the article that you mentioned. So we come to the end of our forum. So based on the discussion on this forum, we can infer that the issue is extremely important to us and has a beneficial influence on both employees and the company. Finally, I hope that this roundtable session will open our eyes to the benefit of OSHA. And I would like to say thank you for your time, Mr. Ikmal Roslin and Mr. Ibn Rozi, and have a good future in your next uh, experience and adventure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, you
We
guys.
also wish for your luck, Mr.
Yeah, thank you all.
All right.